Oil prices reached 7-year highs on Friday as geopolitical tensions and a winter storm in the U.S. fueled concerns over supply disruptions. Joining us right now to talk about where prices may be heading next is Helima Croft. She's head of global commodity strategy at RBC Capital Markets, also a CNBC contributor. And Helima, part of this is concerns about maybe an imminent move by Russia into Ukraine. That's what the White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan was saying over the weekend, that this could happen in a matter of days, that Russia's basically set up and ready to go. Have the markets priced all of that in at this point?
I think the market is absolutely starting to price this in. I think is contributing to the rise in oil prices. And this is a very consequential week for diplomacy. You have Chancellor Scholz in Washington today. We're expected to hear statements from him that Germany would cancel or put on ice the Nord Stream 2 pipeline project if you had Russian troops invade. You have Emmanuel Macron, making visits to Moscow, to Kiev, to try to find a diplomatic off-brief. We also have the Iranian nuclear talks resuming tomorrow in Vienna. So this will be a very important week in terms of diplomatic effort to give us an indication where oil could be going.
Hearing those headlines out of Germany, the idea that they might actually cancel the pipeline if Russia moves into Ukraine, I mean, that seems like it's a pretty big deal. That would be something I would assume Putin would say, maybe that's not something we want to push. I don't know if he thought Germany would actually say that.
I mean, it's a very important project for Vladimir Putin. It's seen as a political project for the Kremlin. And so the question is, if Scholz comes out and says this, will this potentially cause Moscow to rethink their calculations? I mean, one thing to keep in mind is they could put it on ice and essentially say, we're not going to let it become operational. They're not going to dismantle Nord Stream 2. So if there is some type of diplomatic settlement, expect flows to go through that pipeline. But again, it's going to be very interesting to see how tough Germany is in terms of the rhetoric, because they're seen in some quarters as potentially the weakest link in terms of the Russian response to Russia, because they're so dependent on Russian energy.
We keep saying, I feel like almost a broken record every morning, that oil prices closed at their highest level since 2014, every day setting a new level. Has all of this been baked in, or do you think there's a lot more room to run higher if any of this actually breaks out?
I mean, Becky, if those Russian troops cross the border, I mean, that is your clear path to 100. There'll be a lot of concerns about disruption of Russian energy supplies. I mean, again, they are the commodity superstore. So there'll be concerns about disruption to gas flows to Europe, to oil exports globally. What are they going to do with wheat, with palladium, with coal? So there are all these questions about what will happen to Russian exports in the event of an invasion. On the other side, though, if you have those Russian troops pull back, if you get some type of diplomatic settlement, if you get a breakthrough in the Iran talks and potentially 1 million extra Iranian barrels hitting the market, that could cool off the rally. But again, I think all focus is going to be on what happens with Russia-Ukraine this week.